Hey guys, I'm Ethan Moore from Stockholm Supply. Simon, he bought a 55 liter can vac from us a few months ago. And this is a 2000 watt machine that runs on 220 volt. But Simon told me he is using his on a regular 110 volt outlet. And I want to show you guys how he is doing that. It's pretty cool. So he's originally from the UK, and apparently this is a fairly common thing that you can do. I wasn't aware of it, but he got himself a transformer. This guy right here. Here's a transformer. Now this one I got is a 3000 watt transformer. I have a 2000 watt can vac. I really should have, after doing more research, should have got a 4000 or 5000 watt, as this does get a little bit warm as I'm using it. But essentially what this does is this plugs into a standard 110 volt run-of-the-mill outlet, and it converts that 110 volt into 220 volt. And it allows you to run your can vac on a regular outlet just by plugging it in to this setup right here. And you can see that. So it works just fine. So, pretty cool. Now before we get too excited, there is a few little stipulations here. This can vac, when you have it set in 110 volt, each motor is going to be running about 8.5 amps. So if you add that together, that's going to be about 17 amps altogether. Now, a 110 volt outlet in your house will either be 15 amps or 20 amps. So if you're going to be running both motors on this can vac, you got to ensure that you have it in a 20 amp circuit, or else after about 5 minutes or so, you're just going to blow the breaker. So yeah, you're going to want a 20 amp circuit to run both motors all the time here. The other thing that you'll notice, when I say 110 volt or 220 volt, that's really just kind of slang. When electricity enters your home in a 220 volt, it's going to be anywhere from 220 volt to 240 volt. And actually the average is 230 volts. So that's what most voltage is going to be coming into your house. And then in a 110 volt will be average 115, anywhere from 110 to 120. So what I have found is, if I have my can vac plugged into, let me just plug it into a real 230 volt, I should say, plug here. If we turn this on, and we have my CFM meter here, I'm going to read the max CFMs right now. So I'm reading 569 CFM right there real quick. Now, if I plug this in to my transformer, the voltage coming out of my transformer is actually a tiny bit lower. It's rated about on 220 volt. So that means 510 CFM. So there was about not quite a 60 CFM loss, about a 10% loss in CFM by running it through a transformer, just because that's a little bit lower voltage overall. So it's just something you got to expect is when you have it plugged into a transformer, you're going to lose about 10% of your vacuum potential there. But yeah, for guys that don't have access to 220 volt in their shop, but they do have a number of 110 volt outlets in their shop, using a transformer like that to run a can vac is a really, really good option. Yeah, so what did I miss here, Kate? I think that's...
I don't know. I think this is the biggest hiccup for people.
Yeah.
So I think this is a really cool discovery.
Yeah, like this can vac is such a cool dust collector, but the real limiting thing about it is they're strictly 220 volt. So if you don't have 220 volt, you still have a way that you can use it with a transformer like that. Now I will link the transformer in the description here. This is just one I got off Amazon. There's tons of different options available. But I'm using a 3000 watt, like I said earlier. I would recommend a 4,000 or 5,000 watt, as I do notice this gets a little bit warm after extended use here. So yeah, if anybody else has any questions, you can email me at info excuse me, at info@stockhamsupply.com, or just comment on a video. Now, if you want to see future videos, make sure you subscribe. Thank you much.
One possible thought
Sure.
that I'm thinking. You're showing here the 55 liter.
Yes.
Should you be mentioning anything about the 90 liter?
Well, I should probably. Yeah, the 90 liter, 3,000 watts. So 8.5 times 3 is what? That's 25.5 amps. There is no 115 volt outlet on the planet that would be able to run that unit right there. This has to be run on a 220 volt. There's just no way to run it on 110 volt. Now, a lot of people have 20 amp circuits, so this is very feasible to run in a 110 volt setting. This guy here is not. So yeah, thanks for asking that, Kate.
Not a problem.